Hi there, and welcome to Bustthenet. Yes, you're back here with me on the show, and we have what is going to be a very, very exciting day ahead. We've got a special guest on the show. His name is Nic Madden. He's the QA lead of the match engine from Sports Interactive, and he is the manager of the England squad. I am the assistant manager of the squad. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the game that we're going to have to play. So, Nic, why don't you just say hello to everybody?
Oh, well, thank you for having me on the show, Daljit, again. And I'm looking forward to the game for England versus Malta.
Cool. All right. So, just one other question. I mean, like before we begin this game, so in SI, do you guys actually actually have little competitions among each other when you play the game?
This year we were involved with the set pieces doing a competition called the FM Cup. So I was involved with the testing of the FM Cup itself and the format, and them using the the hot seat version of the game. So they were using FM Touch, and they were playing hot seat games, so two players on one laptop. And we also had a lot of competitions to try out this format in the office. We also test Fantasy Draft itself, and also we do try and test how the match engine evolves and works with human versus human play, because ultimately we want to make sure that the human versus human is having just as good an experience as a human versus an AI manager.
Okay, but what about within the offices of SI? Do you guys have little competitions among each other? Like like, okay, who's gonna have an unbeaten streak, or who can take this club to glory? Do you have like little, like I've got one up on you, you got one up on me, any one up competition, any one upsmanship in the office?
Oh yeah, this year actually, Ian McIntosh done set pieces format and his sort of playthrough with Everton, and he done the Everton challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, all of us in the office, we did try that same Everton challenge in our playthroughs away from the office, and then when we came back, we then compared the scores. So we started off where we had absolutely no coaching badges, no reputation as a manager, and exactly the same format as what Ian had, and we had a competition to see if we could last past December, just because Ian's Everton dream did end in December. So if we could beat Ian, we could then beat the game as well, and just that competition between each other. It was really, really fun, and quite a few of the guys actually carried on their saves, which was brilliant, because that was sort of their starting base, and then it turned into, okay, it's gone on for some guys. It went then into a journeyman save, and they then bounced around different clubs, which is incredible. It started off as a competition, and then everybody went their separate ways, which is quite nice.
Oh, that's so cool, because it's nice. The longevity of the game is something else. I mean, like, people play this game for a lot of reasons, and it's amazing that people can carry on playing. I mean, I'm almost 50. I mean, I am 50 years old. And I've been playing the game since I was 21. So you can imagine the number of years. I mean, 21 or 22. I can't even remember when I picked up the game. I remember I actually smashed my friend's monitor when I played the game the first time, because I got sacked by Liverpool. All right, 10 matches in, and I smashed his monitor. So that was my first encounter with the game. And I had to leave his house. I had to rush out, go buy him a new monitor, stick it back up again. And I did not leave his house, his room, for 4 days until I conquered the game.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
And I still play this game. I mean, like I actually had to have actually, when I used to go dating with girls, I used to use the game to break up with girls. So if I didn't like a girl, it's a birthday, right? But no, I'm sorry, darling, but I've got the FA Cup final on FM.
There's been some fantastic stories out there in the news and in public of obviously the game being featured in divorce cases, and the game being used as a tool for people to get their suit on and then play. People go out and buy a suit for a cup final. People making so much noise that the police will come to their door when they're dressed up in the suit for the cup final and think that there's something going on, when really they're just celebrating or commiserating a cup final. So I love the immersion levels that you can get from the game. Like I still can't believe that I fell in love with a flashing time bar of when I scored a goal. That to me just seems absolutely crazy now when I'm playing the game, that I fell in love with just the text and that flashing of the goal when I knew I'd scored.
I think that flashing bar is iconic for most of us, and we don't ever want to see that flashing bar go away. And it's those iconic things. Now, speaking about iconic, you and I have to take England to glory, and our first game is away to Malta. And let's look through the squad. We've got Joe Hart, Kyle Walker, Chris Smalling, John Stones, Danny Rose, Jordan Henderson, Dele Alli, Eric Dyer, Adam Lallana, Rashford, Harry Kane. Who do you want to play for this match? Are there any changes that you want to make? Because you're the manager. You have to sit in the stands because you're serving a red card ban. I'm going to be on the ground, so you better give me all the instructions I need, man, right now.
I'm hoping that this will be the first lineup we'll say with. I have picked this tactic with this lineup in mind.
Okay.
And from there, I would hope that at some point in the game that we'll probably use Wayne Rooney. We'll bring him in. I would like to at least give Lingard a run out.
Mm-hmm.
Can do. If we are going to switch to wingers, then maybe he can come into the game. So yeah.
All right.
We've got options on the bench. We've only really got one out and out winger, but it could work.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I'll submit the team, and we're gonna go in and highlights mode. What highlights mode do you prefer?
I actually love playing on either extended or comprehensive. I like to watch the game.
Okay. You choose.
That's one thing I like.
Comprehensive is fine for me as well. So it's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've got comprehensive highlights, and I'm using. I have panels as well. I got a few panels I can set up. So, Malta's formation is a 4-1-3-1-1.
Oh, I thought that there's potential that it could be changing to that defensive formation. Okay. So that's good. We at least got the overloads on the sides. That's one thing that I am happy with. We do have a defender and a right back and a right midfielder, left back, left midfielder. So we can go around them.
Okay. All right. So what about OIs? Are we going to OI anybody?
I would like it to play out how it would naturally. Okay. I'm happy for the instructions not to be set for this. I want the roles to hopefully flourish in the system.
And I did hire Bobby Mims for the English team. As you probably know, or anybody who's been following me on Football Manager for the last 10 years, he's my assistant manager. I always hire him because he's a genius. He wins games single-handedly as the assistant manager. But I'm your assistant manager, so what do you want to do for the team talk?
I would like to go for a passionate team talk because we're away from home. Okay. I feel like, let's G up the boys.
All right.
Yeah. I would also... something like, we can win this game.
Okay, so we can... we are the favorites here, so go out there and impress me?
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So we're leaving everything as it is, and we're going to go into the match right now. So starting the match, and yeah, this is old habit of mine. I've got the formations up on the left in case the AI decides, I'm going to change formations on you.
That's perfect to me.
Now, would there be any reason why... Okay, so I'm just going to change this. I'm putting formations on the left because I've got a mod in my game, right? What I do is I use the Michael Murray from the forums. He created in-game mods as well so that we can actually see more panels in the game. So here we are defending against Malta. They've had their first shot on goal. but it's the defense is doing a pretty good job holding them back, yeah. Now, there's a what a ball from Lallana to Harry Kane. Oh, it looks like your plan is coming. I see. This is. Do I see Mike Bassett in this formation by any chance?
I've tried to go for that 4-4-2. So, that Mike Bassett feel of I can be the England manager.
Yeah, because I get this distinct feeling we are going to play the 4-4-2. I mean, I had to censor myself, but yeah, because
it could be a bit like a Harry Redknapp as well. Like, we want the players. We put them in the formation. We want them to go out there.
Okay.
Just give it your all, lads.
All right. So okay, now we're 14 minutes into this game, and well, possession-wise, we aren't doing very much with the ball. It's only 14 minutes, and but Malta has something like 60 to 70% possession. So we'll keep playing the same way, right? Because I think your players haven't had time to settle into the game, I guess.
Oh yeah, of course, and because Malta won't be trying to attack, and we're not necessarily closing them down as much because we're keeping the team instructions very basic. We want the roles to flourish.
Okay.
So I'm not expecting that high press to get the ball back off them.
Okay.
Either. So I'm hoping that basically our quality will show through when we do have the ball. Like, I can see that Dyer has won the ball as a ball-winning midfielder, and he's our main man who is looking to engage with that ball. But it also needs Malta to come out, to come and attack us a little bit.
But you don't need Malta to come out very often if you've got players like Adam Lallana on your side.
Beauty. That's a beautiful goal.
Yeah, he smashed it in from the outside. Now, one question I want to ask you, I mean, since we're playing the game, is this. There's a myth, right, on the forums. There's a myth that says, if I were to use roam from positions, my boys are going to run along like headless chickens. Now, the thing about me is that I like to use roam from positions if I find that a side is very hard to unlock. And I have players who've got decent off the ball. What do you think about this myth about roam from positions?
Well, actually, off the ball is one of my favourite attributes in the game. Is because it obviously in combination with other attributes, you will look for a player to move into different positions, try and look to be a bit more fluid in their play, try and look to unlock a defence, and that is what roam from position is hopefully going to give the experience to the user that their team is trying to move into different areas and hopefully get into those half spaces that they can try and influence the play more. And I think it's a very useful instruction. Same with obviously being the opposite of like being more controlled. That's something that it's very useful for the user. The stick in positions, stick to those positions. That's really useful for the user as well. I feel like they complement each other.
So when should a user get stuck? Stick to positions then?
I would say if they don't want their players to roam, if they want their players to be in a more of a structured formation. But it's really up to the user of how they want to experiment as well, because they can do anything they want. They could do this. They could do that. I feel like limiting the user and just saying, "Oh, you should do this with your tactic. You should do that." You can be creative, and I mean that as a game we give the user the basis to do that. But personally, I like to use stick to positions when I'm in a more structured formation, and I don't want the opposition to break us down.
But when you're talking about structured formation, are you talking about the shape or just the overall, the positions on the pitch? You just want them to hold their positions as they move up and not be all over the place?
Well, I wouldn't want them to, say, roam or move away from a different place. Oh, got a nice goal there as well. Very happy about that.
Yes, England romping at this moment. So it's like looks like it's working as a second goal, and it's a good move not to have a knee-jerk reaction. Your ass man was getting a bit worried on the sidelines, like, "Oi, 70% possession. What are we supposed to do?"
Again, it's they are like Malta themselves. They are probably playing a very structured, very safe formation, which means that they don't want to give up the ball. They don't want to attack. They don't want to give up that risk. So it's understandable that if we're not pressing high, if we haven't got our defence high, if we're not trying to close down the ball, win that ball from them, that they might be able to build up slowly but surely. But you can see the quality of when we do have the ball, that we are able to break. We are able to break quick, and I feel like that's helping with the tactic itself, because we do have a flexible team shape. And what you were saying earlier about the stick to position and the structure, that is very much what I consider to be using the team shape. But also your formation dictates your team shape as well. Depending on how many defenders, depending on how many midfielders, depending on how many strikers, and depending on how much width you have, and ultimately how much depth you have. So how many defenders do you have? How many strikers do you have? That will dictate your team shape itself and the structure around it. And those partnerships, and that's why the 4-4-2 I quite like, because it's equal partnerships around the field.
All right. So if we were to play a system like a 4-3-3, which has got like two AMs, right? You were talking about how you use different shapes for different formations. So what would your shapes be, formations be for fluid shapes then?
I feel like it's up to the user what they want to do for a fluid team shape. I would myself, if I was playing a more fluid formation, I would like to have players out wide, and that is so that we can have a bit more width to our attack, because ultimately width creates space, depth creates space. So that's why I would want a wider formation to help give those space to the players so they can move into certain channels and be a bit more fluid and be a bit more experimental in their play. That's what I would have. That's what I would do myself. But that's what I love about the game itself, is the user can have that. That's the same. They could play a narrow formation, but have quite a lot of, say, AMCs in there. They might want a few AMCs, and then they play fluid. But it might be a bit harder for them to find that space. But with certain player traits that we have in game, with the instructions that you could use, they could still find those spaces.
What about okay, so cool. Now we have a corner, and your defense routines. I mean, honestly, we should be expecting England to be pretty solid from their defensive corner routines.
I hope so. Yeah. And hopefully we can break from it as well. That would be quite nice. Are we able to go to the match analysis at all?
Yeah, if you want to, we can right now. Okay, we'll now go to the match analysis, to the teams. What are you looking out for?
I would really like to see if the average positions on the field, both with and without the ball.
Okay, so with the ball, England look like this. So far in the game. And without the ball, England look like this. Pretty balanced at the moment. There's some gaps between the half spaces between the wingers and the central midfielders. But it's nothing that this team can't handle.
Oh, I can definitely see the differential between the with the ball and without the ball. It was quite nice and compact though without the ball, which I'm quite impressed with. That's at least helping.
Yes.
Helping the solidity of the tactic, and they don't seem to be getting through us as much.
Would you say that, I mean, when it comes to shape, right? Some people I've read somewhere that people seem to think that you can't use a fluid shape with a poor team, or you can't use a structured shape with a poor team. So where do you stand with all that? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like you can set up any system you want in the game, realistically, despite the attributes of the players. But I think the way that they will carry out those instructions and that system will differ, because there's so many attributes within the game that will affect the match, which is what you like, what you want in the game world. You want to see a player that doesn't have such great decisions make mistakes. You want to see a player that doesn't have such great tackling or finishing ability to miss those chances, to miss those key tackles. And I wouldn't say that you couldn't play a certain system just because you have a poor team, but it just might not play out the way that you will envision it playing out.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think that's the main thing. It's about understanding that there are
Limitations.
so many attributes in the game that are powering into the match engine, and there are those hidden attributes which will make an effect to the player, and will affect the tactic itself.
All right, we're gonna, according to our friend Bobby Mims, he says we should shut up. Do you think so? Not say anything at halftime.
I would definitely like to tell them to. I would like to calmly tell them how well they're doing.
Okay, I'm very happy with the way the things are going. Keep it up, lads. Okay, is that what you
Please.
want to say?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Uh-oh.
I think a system change might be quite nice.
Excuse me. Sorry, you want to do a system change? Cool.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I would love it.
Go to advanced tactics right now. And what system do you want to change to?
I would like to change to the 4141 DM that I had set up, so the second system, which also has the halfback, and I've raised the mentality and the team shape.
So, all right. So mentality and team shape is going to be control and fluid.
Yes, please. Yeah, I think that we could probably go for the jugular here.
Okay. So who's going to be playing as a halfback?
I would like Eric Dyer to switch back to halfback.
Okay.
I would like Rashford to go out to the left.
Okay. And Lanana to drop in here.
And Lallana to drop in as an advanced playmaker.
All right. Any other changes? No, or is this it?
No, I'd like to stay with the team that we have right now. We might have to bring in old Rooney, just for fun. I think that Lingard will be coming on at some stage.
So okay? So do you want to bring Rooney on now or later?
Later.
Oh, sorry. I have to do the changes again then. Dyer, Rashford to the left, Lallana in the middle. Okay, that's it. This is what you wanted, and this is what I'll do as your assistant manager.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, cool. The changes should take a while to kick in because they haven't kicked in yet, but I suspect they're going to score a third goal before that happens.
I hope so.
Yeah, Rashford just missed one. So how come Raheem Sterling isn't in the team?
I literally used the squad selection from the save.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would have liked to have had another winger.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has changed the shape, definitely. I would have probably started with Sterling. Instead, I've had to go for a conservative Jordan Henderson over there.
Oh, okay.
But I looked at his attributes, and I love that work rate that he has. He has quite a good set of attributes on him. So I'm expecting that he would at least perform well in that position, and mainly as a wide midfielder, definitely. Not so much as a winger, but I think he'll probably be the first one that will come off. I would say that Rooney could come on in maybe the 65th minute.
65th minute. Okay, boss. We shall bring Rooney on in the 65th minute. This will be fun.
Yeah. And I think as well, we'll bring Lingard on as well. We'll make a double change.
Okay, 65th minute. So I'll just make the change now. So we're going to bring Lingard on for Jordan Henderson.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. And Rooney will come on for Adam Lallana.
I would like Rooney to come on for Lallana, even though he scored a goal.
It's okay. I'm sure his Liverpool team would appreciate him not playing so much.
Yeah, does like to run those boys.
Yeah. I mean, I do like how the ball-playing defender uncovers play as well in this game now, because sometimes I do see them coming up to support attacks.
And what I love about the game as well is the highlight mode itself. You get such a different perspective of what a role does depending on the highlight mode that you play. If you play on key, you might miss so many instances in the game where you think, oh, I can see how this works. As I think the match analysis is a really good tool to use, because you can get clips of the game that you might not necessarily have seen.
I see. And what are the features in the match analysis tool that you use a lot of?
I definitely use the shape,
okay.
So the average positions. I think that's really key to just seeing how the tactic works itself. Also, where players are taking shots from. I think that's really useful to see where are they taking their shots from, because then you can see how your tactic is developing. Because ultimately, you want to make your tactic to score goals. So how do you envision you scoring that goal? And I think that's quite nice to have a reference point after the game or even during the game to see, okay, where am I making those chances? I also like the touch map for individual players. I quite like to see where they're making their touches. I think that's really important again for the role. Oh, and another fantastic goal.
Yeah, Harry Kane, near post header.
Harry.
This is how you expected the goals to come in your 4-1-4-1. You were expecting deliveries from out wide, pumped into the box. Now, this role that you chose for Harry Kane, centre forward on support. Now, why did you choose a centre forward role in the first place? I mean, doesn't this have a lot of PIs in it already?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely has a load of PIs, a load of player instructions, and that's why I wanted it only to be on support, because obviously on attack duty there's many more PIs that are in there. I'm just hoping that the striker on support would work with the playmaker on attack.
Okay.
Oh, and brilliant. Is that a set piece?
Yes, a set piece. Your first set piece goal with the system. You've got a set piece goal, and you've got 2 goals with the 4-1-4-1. Basically, you got 2 goals with the 4-4-2 and 2 goals with the 4-1-4-1. We didn't have time to go to the next tactic. I'm sorry.
I apologize. That's my counter tactic as well. So I was hoping to close up the game with that one.
Okay, so is there anything that you want to see from the match analysis tool? Because we changed your tactic at about the 65th minute. 66 minutes. So if you wanted to look at the average positions with the ball, now we have to include the 2 substitutes, I guess, because okay, it's gonna be a bit hard because it's gonna be a bit hard to see it because of the 2 extra substitutes on the pitch. This is the only downside about this, because it just shows average positions right now.
Yeah, no, of course. But what you can do as well is you can go into the player side of it and just click on individual players as well, which is sometimes what I do just so I can take out the subs.
Okay, all right.
But other than that, it will be a little bit different, a little bit more lopsided because we didn't play the system for long enough. to really get a fair representation on the chalkboard itself of where the players were positioned. But at least we can get a grasp of where they're positioned for that
So this game has a good result. I mean, England have beaten Malta 4-0. We've got tough matches coming up against Slovakia, Scotland. Probably Slovakia and Scotland would be the toughest teams in this group, apart from England, of course. But how do you reckon England's chances are going to be in this group?
If it's under your assistant management, then I can see us definitely topping the group.
No, I am just the assistant manager. I am just following all you guys. You guys come on the show. You guys do. I'm just going to go, shit. Oh, no. I'm the one who's twiddling. I mean, I'm the one going nervously looking at the screen going, should I man mark? Should I do this? Should I do? Because, you see, compared to you and your tactic, because this is the thing I love about the game. There's so many ways to play. I mean, I've got Cleon. Cleon plays it one way. I play another way. And then we've encountered you. And you play in a totally different way from me and Cleon. There's like 3 different ways of playing this game.
Yeah, I tried to take it back into the beauty of the roles. And the fact that what I love about the game is that you can have as many instructions as you want. And you can make it such a sort of a pep, defined system. Is I want to micromanage every play in the field, and vice versa. You can have Harry Redknapp style, where you have some genius player that will hopefully unlock a defense. Like he's played with Arl Berkovic in the past. Adel Tarat has obviously been in his setups before, but just letting the guys go out and play. And that's why I just wanted the roles to really enforce how we were going to play. And those combinations of the partnerships on the field, rather than saying, I want everything and I want it now. But when I'm playing at home, I will experiment with different systems. I don't tend to have one system for the whole season. I feel that a system can change just on changing the duty of some of the players, or just by changing the team shape or the mentality. I feel like there's enough change within there that I don't need to have as many PIs. But I've made a tactic myself, with my Celtic save, where I have 12 PIs, and I have 12 team instructions, but also I have the PIs on the distribution of where I want my goalkeeper to play, the PIs of the players themselves. So I try and edit those roles a little bit to give me something different.
That is the beauty about the game, I guess, because that's how I like to play. I'm a massive micromanager. I mean, I want my players to play in a specific, so I can create multiple patterns, but it's heartening to hear that there are other ways of playing this game, and that people shouldn't lock themselves into one mindset when it comes to this game, because that's why the Tactical Creator was made in such a way.
Oh, of course. It was made so that we can make it realistic, but also give the user freedom to enjoy the game. Because ultimately, we want our users, our players, to immerse themselves in it and to try and be creative. And I remember being on the coaching field in America with my club team, so with my academy team, and I would be teaching a system, and I would go back and I would play with that same system in FM, and it was quite nice to see, okay, how does it work in FM compared to how to do my U12 boys play it, and how do my U15 girls, how do my high school team, how do they play the system? And we had, what was quite funny is when you're coaching high school over in America, they have 2 referees on the field, no linesmen, just 2 referees, one in each half. So we needed to play with a diamond defense.
So
the reason why we needed to play with that diamond defense is because there was no offside. The offside trap didn't really matter because there was a referee in each half.
Oh, this is interesting because I mean I could sit down here with you for hours talking about tactics, and this is gonna be a fantastic show, but then be an extremely long show. Will you be joining me on the show again in the future?
Yeah, I'd definitely love to.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here today. I was hoping to talk about my Granada B team save, but I'll leave that
No,
for another time.
no, yeah, we will be okay. So that means we are gonna bring you back on the show, and then we will go into more detail about your personal saves in the game because there are so many things that we could cover, but in the interest of making this show viewable, okay, we have to keep it short. And I feel terrible about having to stop the show because um, I'm enjoying it too much, especially the fact that I've never played a system like this before, and here we go. It's like wow. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, but hell, man. I even took this 442 that you created, right? And I gave it to Torino. My Torino side, which is micromanaged to the point of nth degree. And I gave it to them and I said, oh, God, no, what's going to happen now? We got automatic, we got no PIs, TIs. I'm holding my hands. I'm going, oh, man, I've got to trust my boys. I've got to trust my boys. You see, that's the thing I had to tell myself when I went in there because no TIs, no PIs. All I got to do is trust my boys. And the thing is, this is what you're encouraging. If you have the good players in your team and you know you've chosen the right players for the right roles, which obviously you need to do firstly, then when they go out, trust them to deliver the goods.
Exactly, and if not, you've always got the tactical shouts.
Exactly. And worst up, then you got the assistant manager to take over if you think that you have an issue or two. Well, Nic, I like to thank you for coming on today's show, and it's been fantastic having you on the show today. So I look forward to our next adventure with England.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, guys. Now, if you have any questions for me or even for Nic, you know where to find me. You can always look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted to FM.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. All of you guys, you have a good one. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.